Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. How are we doing, Darren? What's happening?
Wicket.
All good.
Well, good, Niall. How are you, bud?
Good, yeah, not too bad. Under a bit of pressure, as you know. I'm on my own here this week, so I got a bunch of dogs.
Starting me life, Niall. I don't want to hear it, pal. Yeah, starting me life.
Podcasts, yeah, juggling a
Yeah,
lot.
You didn't spend 9 hours on a tennis court today with a load of kids either, did you? No. So zip it and keep going, right?
I was up at 5:30 this morning, mate. 5:30 this morning, I was up working.
We earn our crust, brother, don't we?
We do. We certainly do. 100%. That's for sure.
That looks better, I think.
Yeah. But if you could, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it.
I brought you something special tonight.
Oh, did you? Go on, show us.
Yeah, I brought you something special. It's not the Prime X that you can see. I brought you Coke Zero with lemon.
Saying that. Hillary got the 1.5 litre bottle a few weeks ago up in Newry. Yeah. It's not. Do you like it?
I do like it.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't mad about it now. It didn't give me the, remember they used to do the one with the lime? The one with the lime used to be lovely.
That may have come back across the Irish Sea with me over the weekend.
Very nice.
May have.
Right, we've got a bit to get through tonight. Jack is in the chat. Big up, Jack. Good to see you in there, my friend. And Jordan's joining us as well. Jordan will be on a little bit later if he's available when we're talking all things Liverpool.
Hold on, what's this big up, Niall? Jordan, where am I, brother? Hit me. Come on, pal. Give me some love, Jordan.
You're down below. You're down below. You got the mention down below.
I can't see the chat.
There you go. Dazzler, can you subscribe to my channel? There you go. And Daz is in as well.
Do you want to tell Jordan anything? Do you want to tell Jordan anything?
I've already explained to him that you're a Man United fan.
No, not that part of it. Have you not explained to Jordan that I haven't even subscribed to our own channel because I'm so technologically challenged?
There you go.
Don't take it personally, Jordan. Peace and love, my brother. Peace and love.
Daz is in. Hey, Jordan and Jack. And then down the bottom. Dazzler, what do you think of the Olympics draw? Tennis. Nadal could meet Djokovic in the second
round. That's right, yeah. Yeah, that could be interesting. And, listen, on clay, anything can happen. Djokovic would be heavy favourite. But if Nadal can just roll back the years, the issue with Nadal has been lately, he hasn't been able to do 2 or 3 matches in a row like that. But Djokovic will look at that as a massive banana skin. And speaking of the Olympic tennis, Andy Murray is going to bow out of tennis at the Olympics as well. And probably doesn't get the credit he deserves because let's not forget, he was around at a time when Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic won the best part of 50 Grand Slams between them. So an unbelievable player. He spent a total of 48 weeks at world number 1, so almost a full year over the course of his career, multiple slam winners, and he's actually a really nice guy, although he doesn't maybe give off those vibes at times. He's quite dry, he's quite self-deprecating. He's a really, really good kind of a guy, Andy Murray. So another legend bowing out of the game. It's mad, isn't it, when you get to a certain age and you've spent so long watching Federer and Murray and Nadal and Djokovic. Well, 2 of those boys are gone. Rafa's not a million miles away. And Novak, if he keeps bumping into Alcaraz, he won't have long left either. It's mad.
It's kind of like what we spoke about with the football as well, isn't it? This changing of the guard with managers.
Absolutely.
And also this talk of world-class legend players and stuff like that, and all, when you think back and all that kind of thing. But Baz has joined us as well. Barry's in the comments as well. Captain Caramel.
Captain Caramel. What's that I see on the horizon? Is it a caramel? No, it's Brazilian in high heels. Yes, Barry.
It's in the rear view mirror from last night. That's for sure. There you go. But there you go. But we've a bit to talk about tonight.
That wasn't the only thing in the rear view mirror.
No, yeah. Not
Ding dong, hello.
Not a huge show tonight. We're going to talk about the Olympics. Hasn't gotten off to a very good start. Lots of things happening. We're going to talk about the situation with Trevor Chalobah being left off the tour to the USA and what does that mean for him and how we feel about it. We're going to be going through some transfers. We're going to be talking about one Robert Lewandowski who might be in a little bit of trouble. We're going to be taking a look at the signing so far for Aston Villa. They've also been linked with a big signing this week as well that could potentially happen. We'll see what happens there. And what we will do is we will round it out with Liverpool. A little bit of news there, nothing major, most of it not very good.
Nothing major.
We'll talk about it anyway and get your thoughts on it.
No
let's
problem.
Start. Where do we start? Morocco, Argentina. Talk to me. Absolute disaster. We've gotten the longest VAR decision in the history of football, just over 2 hours.
I haven't seen much of this. Obviously, this is my busy time of year, shall we say, with camps and lessons and this, that, and a brand new hat. But I was driving home yesterday and I see that Argentina have grabbed an equaliser very, very late in the game. And again, I watched the goal back and it was just so chaotic, and you think the ball's never going into the net and all of a sudden it ends up in, and you're like, wow, what was happening there? And then I kind of go home and I'm sitting there and there's a few things going on and all of a sudden I'm like, hold on a minute here. Are these back out on this pitch or what's going on? Like, what's, because I'm seeing that there's VAR decisions and I'm seeing freeze frames and I'm like, this is the African Cup of Nations. This is the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is absolute bedlam, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is you're blowing up 6 minutes ahead of the 90 and, and the whole shoot match. This is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Really is.
It doesn't, when we think of the Olympics, we think of that ultimate sporting icon event kind of thing.
Yes.
That is the pedestal for sporting competition and all that kind of stuff. And, we've had our fun covering the AFCON and stuff like that and the craziness of it. We've also spoke about how great the culture of it is and all that kind of stuff. And
absolutely.
Fans and all. We've covered the Euros this summer, which is, to say the least, been pretty disappointing in terms of a summer competition. And now we start off with the Olympics. We got word yesterday that an Australian tourist in Paris yesterday got gang raped by 5 guys. And the police were interviewing her outside a cafe, and 2 of the guys who gang raped her patted her on the back and walked by, and nothing happened. So this is craziness beyond craziness. Our thoughts, of course, go out to
I didn't hear any of that, by the way.
Yeah, crazy. And then you get this absolute melee, lads getting dragged to the floor, all sorts of stuff happening, riot police, crazy decisions. Argentina leaving the pitch for 2 hours thinking they'd equalise, come back for a VAR decision that's offside. Absolute craziness. They also scored the equaliser, as far as I know, in the 97th minute, and there was only supposed to be 5 minutes.
In the 116th minute.
Oh, sorry, the 116th minute.
So they were in the 16th minute, 106th minute. They were in the 16th minute of added time.
Yeah, and apparently there was only supposed to be X amount of time added on or something like that. It was crazy. So we get that. So we're dealing with that, and then we have to deal with this. Thoughts on this? Then we find out that the women's Canadian team at the Olympics, apparently they have an analyst there who's not accredited, and apparently they flew a drone over the New Zealand camp to record and check out their tactics, and they got caught, allegedly. And there's been a statement from the Canadian Olympic Committee, I presume. There's also been statements from the actual Olympic Committee, and this is being investigated as well. So this is not how the Olympics is supposed to start at all.
Honor, trust, respect, all of those good words, building friendships, fair play, everything. And you've got an absolute scandal in week 1. Like, the opening ceremony hasn't even kicked off yet, right? That's not on tomorrow night, if I'm right, yeah? And already you've got this kind of shithousery going on. It's bonkers, really. The one thing I will say is I kind of feel like France and Paris especially is a hub for this sort of chaos.
Well, we've seen it with Champions League finals. We've seen it with rugby. We've seen it with probably every sporting event.
Absolutely.
There's always
we've seen it in everyday life in Paris, what goes on there at times with riots and with stuff like this. So it can be a bit chaotic. It really can.
Yeah, no, it's just there always just seems to be, and no disrespect to people from Paris or French or France or anything like that, but anytime there's anything,
I don't think it's disrespectful calling out the truth either. By the way, so
yeah,
but I think,
yeah, but I would assume that there's an undercurrent there that creates a lot of this havoc, and it's not necessarily your typical Parisian, if you like.
Yeah, I'm sure there's undertones there, but it's probably not where we want to delve into right now, especially considering the current situation in our own city, you know.
Yeah, true. But and it was weird as well. I was quite shocked. I wasn't necessarily shocked at the match. I was shocked at this one that it was Canada. You know, because it's just like if you turned around to me and said this had happened, guess which team was involved? I don't think Canada would have been on my list. Would have been on yours?
No, I think you'd have probably said China, Russia, you know, some of those kind of countries, but probably not Canada. Like we always seem to see Canada as the innocent side of America, don't we? It's, you know what I mean? It's that wholesome sort of good loving, good fun place to go. It's not.
They care about their society.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now, listen, maybe they care so much they wanted to bring home a medal, but sending drones, that's another level of shithousery, isn't it, altogether now?
And the worst thing was, whoever was the drone boy, to send it in low enough to be known is even worse.
Yeah, so he's a shit pilot as well, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, but it's definitely not a great kickoff, that's for sure. Anyway, to excuse the pun.
No. It certainly isn't. It certainly isn't. But I mean, it can only get better from here on out. Don't forget, we have one LeBron James as a flag bearer on Friday night. That should be enjoyable.
Absolutely.
I'd be a big LeBron fan. And I've heard some rumblings about how the opening ceremony is going to be ran, and it does sound like it's going to be very different from any opening ceremony we've seen before, and it could lend itself to a really good, entertaining opening ceremony, you know?
Yeah, did you catch the video yesterday of the guy with the torch? The paraplegic guy? There was a paraplegic guy carrying the torch, right? And he was decked out in a suit, nearly like an Iron Man suit. And he was walking along with the torch. And I just thought it was everything I expect from the Olympics. It was so cool. This guy, I don't think, had walked in God knows how long. And they put this suit on him. And he was literally walking along as if he was walking in this suit, holding the Olympic torch. And I just thought that, to me, is what defines the Olympics. It was
absolutely
fantastic. And so if you get to catch it, you'll get it online.
The impossible becoming possible, right? Exactly. For years, we've seen athletes and stuff like that just do things that we didn't think was possible, from 4-minute miles to 18-meter triple jumps to, you know, pole vaults and stuff like that, and running times like, you know, sub 10 seconds we never thought was something we would see, obviously. And you know, we're on the cusp now of probably sub 9, you know, and it's getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and guys are getting faster and stronger, and it's phenomenal, and it just shows you what's capable, to what you can get out of the human body if you can train it in the right sort of way, you know.
Yeah, Aces is in Liverpool versus United on the same time as SummerSlam on Sunday, the 4th of August. 1 a.m.
I know which one I'll be watching.
Yeah. Well, me and you will be just split screening. We won't have a problem watching.
I won't be split screening anything. One's a real life pay-per-view. One's a friendly.
Yeah, that's true. God knows who'll be playing.
I'll be watching the return of the tribal chief. Let's go, Roman. Let's go.
Never know. We might even get a final boss back as well.
I don't know. I think the pop that we're gonna get when Roman comes back is gonna be fucking nuclear. Honestly, I think, like, you know, for a long time you hear fans saying, "Oh, Reigns with the belt, he needs to lose it," and blah blah. He lost it, and what do the fans want? We want Roman back. Now,
I did.
I'm not necessarily one of those fans.
I did mention that in the 2.5 or 3 month build up to WrestleMania, didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily one of those fans who wants Roman to have the belt back, because I think, you know, at times, yeah, but it can just, when you know the guy can't lose, that makes it a little bit more difficult and believable to buy into opponents and stuff like that. But I'm happy for the belt to, well, I'm happy. I don't know if Netflix are happy, but that's another story you'd probably have to have on Pro Wrestling Weekly, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. Anyway, the fourth member of the New Day is in the chat here, the power of positivity, Acers himself. Olympics is a big load of garbage.
The fourth member of the New Day.
There you go. The lack of power of positivity. There you go.
Jerry, your shoes smell like garbage, pal. How about that one?
Dazzler, who's winning the big fight on Saturday, Chisora or Joyce?
Joyce.
Joyce for me as
all
well.
Day long and twice on a Sunday.
Absolutely, 100%.
I feel like he's a bit underrated, the boy Joyce.
He is.
Now, I know he's not necessarily in the upper echelon, shall we say, but he's good. Almost pop our son with like a Stone Cold pop. Yeah, I think it's going to be massive, Keith, and I am buzzing for it. I got to be honest with you. Now, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be, because I've had some big pops in my time, yeah? Some of my biggest pops. The return of Punk, you know how big I pop for that, right?
Yeah.
The Hardys returning at WrestleMania, that was a big
right.
pop.
Yeah.
And Edge returning at the Rumble, that was also nuclear. They're probably 3 of the biggest pops I've ever had. I don't think they'll reach that level, but it'll be pretty good.
My biggest pop was Triple H's return.
Right?
Remember Triple H's return?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a return.
Remember he came back and he was absolutely fucking chiseled.
Yeah.
Remember
he had the jacket on with the leather with
That's
the
right, yeah.
And
the only problem with that is
I'm
not a massive Triple H fan.
You're probably a bigger Triple H fan now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, I was always a huge Triple H fan. I loved the politicking. I loved the no selling. I loved it all. I thought it was
No. I wasn't a massive fan of Triple H. And again, it was that Roy Keane thing. It's not that I don't respect the guy, because I respect him hugely. I just never warmed to him. I think it was his nose. But yeah, he's up there now as one of my favourites, I got to tell you.
It could have also been slight jealousy at marrying a billionaire.
I don't think so. Like, you know.
Like, there's a lot to be said for marrying a billionaire.
Absolutely. 112%, no matter what she looks like. Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, if she was a billionaire, I'd look at Susan Boyle. But, yeah.
It'd have to be a billionaire, though, not a millionaire.
No, not for Susan. It'd have to be a billionaire. Yeah, 100%. Couldn't get away with millions for Susan. No.
Right. Let's have a little chat about Chelsea.
Can we just first of all talk about how absolutely abysmal their jersey is? I know we spoke about it a few weeks ago, but my good God, what sort of an abomination is their home jersey? It is fucking hideous.
Like, is it the worst jersey this season?
Oh my God, by a country mile.
Did you see a guy posted on Twitter the other day, the jersey
the bus seats,
and then the bus seats?
Yeah.
How good is that?
Now, here's the thing. We know Bose did the bus seats. So I'm pretty sure Chelsea weren't going that route. And just while we're on kits, I have a late competitor for best jersey.
Okay.
You obviously saw it today, did you?
No, I haven't seen that.
Did you not see the new United one?
The blue one.
The navy and the blue.
Yeah, I seen it all right.
It's different. It's different levels. It's different levels completely. I gotta say, Adidas, fair play. They've played a blinder there.
Nike should probably just stick to boots or something, should they? Because they're horrific when it comes to kits.
Or sweatshops with little Indian kids in them. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's kind of a given now across the board, isn't it? Really, let's be honest.
But did you read the article today? I don't know if you did. It was in relation to some of the designer manufacturers. The report that came out from the US Senate, I think it was. Did you see this?
No.
And it was the cost of a bag being made. I think it was Louis Vuitton. And I think the cost of the bag at retail was about $2,700. And the unit price for them to make it was $59.
And that probably includes bonuses.
$59. And the other one they had was an Armani one. That was $1,900. And in fairness to Armani, they were pushing out 99 quid on that bag.
That's the one Kate I was talking about.
That's him.
I was just talking about Brock Lesnar's return at Mania 28. Wrexham were absolutely robbed last night. They were, actually. They did very well.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? The City Maroon kit?
Yeah, rotten.
Oh, it looks like someone's made really bad gravy.
Real Madrid orange.
Dreadful. Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
Just while we're on Wrexham.
Yeah.
Just while we're on Wrexham, I want to just give some props to somebody. I want to give some props. I'm going to sit forward for this just so everyone can take this in.
Is this a Chelsea defender now?
Big props, Levi Colwell. Yeah? The check is in the post, brother, for shutting up that absolute little gremlin known as James McLean. The best moment of my life was seeing McLean eating his jersey when Colwell was about to put him through the bleeding stand. Levi, you have a new fan, brother. I love it, fam. I love it.
It felt like McLean had to go and change his shorts. I think he bit off more than he could chew. He wasn't expecting that reaction.
Delighted. It couldn't happen to a nicer person. He's an absolute degenerate. Oh my God. What a bad advertisement for our country. Honestly, there is nothing worse out there than James McLean. He is so bad. Oh, I won't stand for the Queen's national anthem, but throw a few 50s in me pocket with our face on them, won't you, lads? Get a fucking hobby, pal. You double standard little fuck. Get out.
Do you reckon Levi Colwell, when he had him and they were talking back and forward, he said, the next time we see you, you better have a poppy on that jersey?
Absolutely. Absolute respect on Levi. I'm telling you. Love it, Levi. He wasn't taking any shit off him, and he knew, because everyone knows James McLean. He's a bluffer. All he is a fucking speedboat with no brains, right? He runs around the place at 150 miles an hour, throwing in tackles, trying to be a hard man. And when someone puts it up to him, he absolutely browns himself. Levi, told you, pal. You got a friend in me. Do, 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 do. Yes. Yes, Levi.
The next time you talk about my buddy Declan Rice like that, I'll be having words again.
100%, man. Yeah. Maybe him and Rice came up in Chelsea together, you know.
I tell you, they were a couple of weight classes in the difference as well, wasn't it?
That was. Levi could be getting in with Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora on Saturday. He's a big buckle, isn't he?
Next time I speak to you, it's London Derry Boy. You don't forget that. Oh, you can imagine what was said. Absolutely fun. I'd say the other lad was only short of throwing the Deadpool suit on to go down onto the pitch to save him.
Not James.
Right, let's talk Chelsea. Trevor Chalobah left off the US tour. Thinking thoughts?
Yeah, look, I don't have a huge issue with it. I think Chelsea have looked at this and they've decided he's surplus to requirements. Now, if you're surplus to requirements, there's no point in them dragging him all the way across across the ocean, so to speak, for him to have to pop back to have negotiations with such and such a club and blah, blah. It's much easier for Trevor Chalobah to train at home in Cobham and to have his discussions, in the UK and stuff like that. He'll be there for a medical, anything like that. So I don't have a huge problem with it. I am a little bit surprised that they've deemed them surplus to requirements, but it came out earlier on the summer that apparently we were looking at them. So it's not a shock.
Yeah, for me, I look at him and I think it's a kind of a weird one. I understand why they want to cash in with all the other stuff that's going on and stuff like that, but he's kind of one of their better defenders, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose the issue is you've got Wesley Fofana coming back as well, haven't you?
Or maybe not.
Like, for me, I got to be honest, Fofana is he's so underrated because we've seen so little of him in the last couple of years. But there was a stage when this kid was one of, if not the best defenders in the Premier League. He was superb. He got a massive move to Chelsea. He's been very, very unlucky with injuries. But if Chelsea can get him fit, he will absolutely bring a huge amount to that team. He's an athlete. He reads the game really well. He's a super defender. He's a young lad, but he's still a leader. I really, really like him. And I think it's guys like that have kind of blocked the path to Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, all right, but certainly it's this one is one that hasn't sat well with the Chelsea fraternity either. Kate, we'll be talking about Liverpool a little later in the show. So
yeah, but let's not forget, there's nothing that sits well with the Chelsea fraternity.
That's true as well.
So let's not put too much emphasis on guys who don't know a lot about their team. I'm not a massive fan of Chelsea fans, if I'm honest. I think they're extremely undereducated on their football, and I think they're the worst of football fans. They're up there with Man City fans, except generally Man City fans are 13 or 12, whereas with Chelsea fans, you have a lot of middle-aged guys who jumped on the bandwagon when Roman came in and stuff like that. So not a fan at all of the Chelsea fan base and their how they treat the club and how they speak about the club and how they always have issues with the club and stuff like that. As I would feel about United fans who speak like that about their own club. Like, we're fans of our clubs. Yes, it's okay to be critical of your club, but surely to God, you can't be looking at every single decision they make and wanting to jump on them over it. Do you know what I mean? There are times when they're going to make decisions that you don't understand, and that's okay because it's above most of our pay grades. Let's be honest. We are fans. We are there to look and enjoy the game and stuff like that. We're not there to make the big decisions. We all have opinions, but opinions are like arseholes. Everybody shits out one.
Big up JP. I don't think that's happening. McLean is moving to Chelsea. Unless he's moving there to live. He ain't moving there to play. Chelsea orange goalkeeper kit is lit.
It's the Real away jersey, basically,
Pretty much, yeah. So he's consistent in what he likes.
He is consistent, yeah.
Let's talk Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Posted this today in our thread and stuff like that. Give me your thoughts on Aston Villa, now linked with Joe Felix as well, apparently.
Yeah, I heard that during the week. I think there's issues around the package and what it would cost to get him to Aston Villa. I think Unai Emery is a fan of his, and I can see why he is. He's a good footballer, but it would be a huge, huge package to try and get him to Aston Villa, and it might be a little bit beyond their means after a lot of what they've done above. Do you know what I mean?
What do you make of these guys? What they brought in first? We spoke last week about Barkley, didn't we? And we spoke about
about Barkley. He's obviously bringing a certain amount of experience to the side. Maatsen as well. I think Maatsen's a good signing for them. It hasn't quite worked out between Digne and Moreno. I think we'll see one of them leave. It'll probably be Digne. I would imagine he'll leave and Moreno will stay, and then you'll have Maatsen and Moreno. I think Onana for me is such a good sign, and he was a guy I looked at and thought, you know what, I'd have him at United all day long. I think he's a really good footballer. He's a big physical unit. He gets around the ground really well. He's very, very mobile. He bosses that midfield area, and he'll give guys like Ross Barkley a lot of ball. You know, he'll win it back and he'll pop the ball off the Barkley and he'll let Barkley drive at defences. And when you've got Barkley driving at defences and you've got Leon Bailey and you've got Ollie Watkins and you've got Morgan Rogers and then you got Philogene and stuff like that, you've got a lot going on that pitch, a lot of speed, a lot of quality, you know.
Were you surprised that the boy Diaby exited to the Saudi Pro League?
So I was really, really excited when he came to Villa. He was a guy who we mentioned, you know, had a huge reputation in Germany and stuff like that at Leverkusen, and in France, obviously being a French international. But things didn't really seem to work out for him. He flattered to deceive at times. We saw, you know, a couple of goals and assists, but the all-round play wasn't there.
Off well,
huh?
He started.
Yeah, he started off okay. Yeah, he did, and he kind of. He flattered to deceive. The stats at times were better than the all-round play, if that makes sense. A little bit in the Marcus Rashford mold. You know, he was scoring and he was creating goals, but he wasn't doing a whole lot for the team in real game time. I think that's a no-brain decision for Aston Villa. For somebody to put 60 million on the table for him, it's take your hand off time. That gets you an Amadou Onana, and it gets you, you know, almost a Philogene. And that's big money to get two lads in like that to improve your team. Do you know what I mean? It improves the squad massively. And we know Aston Villa are gonna have a big season, and they're gonna need a big squad to get them through it, you know?
Absolutely. Ace's 4-hour queue for the kit launch outside Villa Park on Tuesday. Villa are a big club. Do not sleep on Villa.
Always have been.
Big
always
club.
Have been, yeah. A really, really well supported club, Aston Villa.
And when they get it right, they get it really right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Diaby is Kante's replacement.
I doubt it, considering Kante plays as a 6 and Diaby's a winger. So that's a no, Jerry. Unless I'm gonna replace Casemiro with fucking Ousmane Dembele. Is that how we're going? Stop talking marbles, will you? Jesus.
That's not the case. Maybe in terms of appeasing the fans or whatever, but not a case in terms of logically on a pitch. And I don't think that Kante situation is boxed off either yet at this stage.
Not at all. There's a lot left in that. Show me a team in world football who doesn't want N'Golo Kante in it. You know, he proved at the Euros. For me, he was France's best player.
Absolutely.
He was phenomenal. He proved again on the international stage, you know, that 70% of the world is covered by water and the other 30 is covered by N'Golo Kante. What a footballer.
Certainly no drop off in the work rate from the year in the South League.
No, hasn't been at all.
JP's in. Villa are asleep enjoying former European Cup winners back in the big team. Diaby wasn't doing it for Villa. 60 million, a good price. There you go.
Absolutely, JP. Absolutely. You echo our sentiments, my friend.
What do you make of the other ones here, Baranchea and all? How do you feel about those?
I think the bottom four are all lowering the age of the squad. You know, and that's something that's clever. Lewis Dobbin and Illing Jr. and stuff like that, and Archer and Baranchea, they're all young, exciting, talented footballers. How many of them are gonna, you know, get to the level that Villa expect them to? I don't know. It's hard to know. If 2 out of those 4 worked out, I think that's not a bad percentage, you know.
And the fact that Villa are going to be juggling 4 balls this season as well.
Absolutely. So they're going to need bodies to cover and stuff like that. Yeah, 100%. And we know Unai Emery likes to play that energy. He likes to play that high press, this tempo in his game. So like lads are going to drop off after 60, 65, 70 minutes, and you're going to need guys to come in the door.
Big up, Morris. How are you? Good to see you, my friend.
Councillor, I second that motion.
That's
a smashing bit of business for Arsenal when this deal is done. It's not done just yet, but for them to be getting the guts of 35 million for a guy like Emile Smith-Rowe, who hasn't barely kicked the ball in the last 18 months, is a phenomenal piece of business. Yeah, phenomenal.
And the fact that they held out for it as well, because the original bid I think went in was what, 17?
It was 17 or 18, that's right, yeah.
17 or 18, yeah, so phenomenal.
Listen, there's going to be performance related, and there's probably, we'll find out later on when it happens. It might be 28 down, and it might be 7 and add-ons or achievable add-ons, or there's obviously going to be, the deal will be structured in a certain way that Fulham get a little bit of protection, that if he doesn't play, it's not going to cost him as much as it could if he does play, and he does. I don't think there's much doubt on the kid's ability. I think we know there's a footballer there. I think obviously he needs to play games so we can build that level of confidence back up. But at one stage, he was looking like a very, very talented footballer for Arsenal. Hampered by injury massively. It's a huge gamble for Fulham, because that will be a massive, massive part of their transfer budget to go on Emile Smith-Rowe. And listen, if it works out, they'll be very, very happy. If it doesn't work out, though, more pressure on Marco Silva.
I'm thinking of Smith-Rowe when he was playing and stuff like that. He kind of fits that kind of Fulham style as well, doesn't he? When you think of it like a Bobby De Cordova-Reid, and you think of the way they play and the way
He's a high press and tidy winger and stuff like that. And he's got goals and assists in him. And no, I like the kid. I really do. I just think with his injury record and how things have panned out at Arsenal,
yeah,
I think maybe if I'm Fulham, I would have gone in with a loan and an obligation to Bly, and said, listen, gives him for a season. If he does what we expect him to do, we're going to be more than happy to put 35 million down from, provided he plays games. Now, Arsenal's answer to that is going to be, we need to get money in the door here, because we want to make changes in our own squad, and we don't have time to sit in our hands and wait and stuff like that. Obviously, they've just completed the signing of Riccardo Calafiori from Bologna and stuff like that, who, again, it's a great signing for Arsenal. We talked about maybe being a little unsure where he's going to fit in, but I heard somebody, it might have been Mikel Arteta, talking about he's going to be the left-sided Ben White for them. So it looks like he's going to try and turn another centre-back into a full-back like he did on the opposite side, and possibly play Calafiori as a left-back and shore things up at the back, and just get him to be a little bit more solid on the ball going forward, again like he did with Ben White. And, the garden could be rosy for Arteta and the Arsenal backline.
You spoke about it last week as well, didn't you, as well? If Ben White inverts in, they can slot in as a back three and all that kind of stuff. So
you'll have Gabriel go to being the right-sided third centre-back, and you'll have Saliba in the middle, and you'll have Calafiori playing as the left-sided centre-back. White has been so good for Arsenal. He really has, a very intelligent footballer. A guy also I expect to come back into the England fold now that Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate have gone, by the way. I don't think it'll be long before when a new manager comes in to be a phone call made, and White will be getting back into that squad. Because I think if we look at the options at right back now, there's a couple of those lads that are probably going to start exiting the building from international football, possibly a Kieran Trippier and a Kyle Walker.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Absolutely. And to be honest, when we talk about things like that, it really sums up stuff, doesn't it? That the fact that Ben White wasn't involved.
Absolutely. He was, for my money, he was the best right back in the league this season.
Oh, yeah, I would have thought so.
And I would have never, ever, and hands up, I would have never said that was going to be the case. At the start of the season, I was worried. I was like, I don't like the idea of Ben White at centre-back. At right back. I said he's a centre-back or he's a 6. He should screen and blah-de-blah. Ben White.
Martis reckons they're buying Connor Salmon with the money.
I think you might be buying a salmon farm, maybe, but I don't know if you'd be going in for Connor himself.
Absolutely. They have upgraded the tunnel. What do you make of this? Did you see the tunnel upgrade?
I did see it.
It's obviously not finished yet, obviously.
No, it's not finished. I've seen a lot of the pictures now. I actually did the tour twice in the last year. It's the first time I did it with Andrew when we went to the Open last year. We were supposed to play we were supposed to play golf on the Saturday, and it rained really badly. Myself and Andrew went and did the tunnel, and I did the tour. You walk down the tunnel, all this. was cool. A lot of history there and stuff like that. And then obviously Brody and Tallulah hadn't done it. And when we went back we were there in May then this year, we did it with them. And we went to the Arsenal game, and we did the tour, the stadium tour the day before. And the kids got to walk down the tunnel and stuff like that. And they play, the Stone Roses, This Is the One and stuff like this. And it was really cool. It's great for the kids. I saw the picture yesterday, and a little bit just kind of dropped down in my heart, and I went, oh shit. I get that we have to, the clubs will evolve and stuff like that. That tunnel was iconic. There was a lot of history in that tunnel. And me personally, I think of all of the things in that stadium that were going to be upgraded and are being upgraded. I don't know if the tunnel is something I would have gone for first. Have you seen the pictures of it?
I seen some of the pictures today and yesterday, all right, but I think
it's very kind of futuristic. It's very kind of
it's spacey.
It's very spacey, and it wasn't like that. It was very old. It was very quaint. It was brickwork exposed, and you'd kind of arches over where the two teams come out, and there was a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of history in that tunnel. And I don't know if I'm.
Do you know what I think? I think come season time, I think it's gonna look really good. I think
I don't necessarily think it looked bad, and I can see obviously when the camera goes down that tunnel on that Friday night on the 16th of August and the league is ready to kick off, right? And the camera pans down there, and you've got the black and red with the lines and the tape and stuff on it, and the different lighting and everything. I think on a camera basis, it's going to look phenomenal. I won't be shocked if I see fucking smoke coming down the tunnel and guys appearing out of the smoke, and because it looks like it's being set up for TV as opposed to for the teams. But I just had a little swallow, and I went, oh no.
But do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I think United are moving into this new era, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think where we revere the older kind of stuff with both our clubs and stuff like that and all, I think it's good to change those things as well, because it means from top to bottom what we spoke about with Ineos, there's a cleansing going on. And that's just part of it, maybe. You know what I mean? That it needed to evolve. Because otherwise it's like when you see the tunnel. I know it's iconic. It's no different than us.
I can understand what you're saying. Like every time you see the tunnel, you're almost waiting on Fergie to walk out of it.
And you have to move on from that, because this is the problem you've had for a decade.
And you
haven't been able to move on.
I get that, and it'll be different, because obviously the first person we see walk out of that tunnel is going to be Bruno Fernandes, with that armband on, and then we'll see Erik ten Hag and the lads, and it will be, as we've said a couple of times, a little bit of a changing of the guard. And it will be, this is our rear view mirror, and we won't forget what's happened in the past, but now we're looking forward, and we're looking at what we can do as a team and as a club. And I love all that. Just sentimental value. There was a little, oh no. Now listen, the great thing for me was I've been down the tunnel with my 3 kids.
Yeah. So you have those memories and pictures.
Have it. We'll walk down them this season probably. We'll probably do the new tunnel tour this season, and we'll walk down it again, and we'll have the fucking music playing, and you know what I'm like, that one. I'm always good with certain things.
I kind of felt the same the other day when the hat-trick burger was taken off the McDonald's menu at the end of the Euros. It upset me. Pulled on my heartstring. And all it is just that extra burger.
Oh, God. I'm sure you can add a patty, can you?
Yeah, it's not the same. If I have to put it in myself...
The hat-trick burger. I didn't have them.
Oh, my God. How did you not have them?
I'm not a massive McDonald's fan.
Neither am I normally, but I felt with the extra patty it gave me that Burger King feels, because there was a bit more in it. I thought I might feel fuller. No, I didn't. But
because you're in a permanent state of hunger.
Man, it never ends. I don't eat now when I'm hungry. What I do was I just eat. I don't let myself get hungry anymore. I eat in advance to make sure it doesn't.
Better idea. It's a better idea. I was hungry earlier on. I still haven't eaten.
Tell you.
I still haven't eaten. I haven't eaten since 1 o'clock today.
JP's
and we're just brushing on 10.
Arsenal should give Brentford 50 million for Tony. Get the goals.
It's not going to cost you 50 million at this stage.
No, it's not.
It's going to cost you a lot less than that. You'll get even Tony out the building for about 35 with add-ons, I imagine.
What did you make of the news today with Igor Thiago?
I didn't see what happened.
Meniscus.
No.
Apparently meniscus scans planned for early next week. Meniscus.
After them paying out the big bucks and everything.
First game played in the friendly. Boom.
Didn't see it. Wow, that's horrific. Well, if that's the case, you ain't getting Tony out at all, are you? They're not going to have a choice. They'll have to let the contract run down and let Tony bridge the gap between himself and Tudor.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Very, very
sad state of affairs. That's sad.
Very unfortunate, and especially when we're looking forward into the season to look at some of these players.
Yeah, new guys coming in, as you said, and bringing new players and creating new stars in the league. And guys weren't banging themselves up the week before stuff kicks off.
I remember we're not Chelsea fans or anything, but I was quite excited to see what Fofana would bring to Chelsea, and then he got injured as well and all, so it was just one of those things. So, but yeah,
we're Levi Colwell fans though.
100%.
Big Levi.
Jack says he missed you.
I miss you too, Jacko.
Yeah, and he says the Man United tunnel looks unreal. Fair play. There you go.
Thanks, Jack.
Man United should be getting 30 million from McTominay if they don't want him. Sure.
If they don't want, listen. I think he's probably as close to the door as anyone at the minute. I think the next ones in line are Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, and McTominay.
Lindelof.
And Lindelof, yeah. But I don't think they'll drop their guard on it. I think they've got a level, and if it gets to the level, he'll go. But if it doesn't get to the level, I think he'll stay.
Is McTominay a player that you think should go, or is he a player that you think should be held for the squad?
It depends what you're gonna do with him. I don't believe he can play as a number 6. He's not defensive minded enough. If I look at him and think, is he a guy I'm gonna bring on when I'm looking for goals? If I'm coming off the bench for Man United and I'm looking for someone to get a goal, I want someone a little bit better than Scott McTominay. And that's not being disrespectful, because, by the way, he's got out of some serious scrapes over the last number of years, right? Yeah, absolutely. So that's it, with the most respect in the world. I think if you're looking to get to that next level, you want to pull something else off the bench, don't you? You want to pull a Joshua Zirkzee off the bench, or you want to pull, an Ahmad off the bench, or you want to pull a Rashford or a Garnacho, because there's only so many of these guys can play. So if I go in kicking a ball and I've got, Højlund and Fernandes, and I've got Ahmad and Garnacho, well, then that means I've got Rashford, Zirkzee, Mount, all on the bench, Jadon Sancho possibly. They're guys I would look at quicker than a Scott McTominay if I was just looking, for a goal. I think Scott's biggest problem is right now teams look at players and what they can what position can they play in, right? I think there's a few players who get away with being squad players, as we say, but there's a lot of guys who, the boy Onana has gone into Villa there. He's going to play at number 6. He's going to screen that back 4. He's going to sit in front. He's going to be an absolute unit, and he's going to give the ball to the 2 boys in front of him and let them pull the strings. Scott McTominay can't do that at Man United, and he's not going to get Bruno Fernandes out of the number 10 position, and I'm not sure if he's got enough going on to be the 8 either when you've got the likes of a Kobe Mainoo there. I mean, 2 of those midfield positions for us, Bruno and Mainoo, They're nailed down. You're not getting either of them out of that team.
Mm.
So then
And
you're looking, what improves us?
In fairness to him as well, he probably doesn't want to be that 15-minute end of a match throw-on kind of guy either.
No, and I think he's better than that. I think he deserves more than that. Like, if I look at what he's been linked with so far, I think Everton and Fulham have been the two that we've seen links with. I think he would do a super job for either of them. I really would, because I think, at Fulham you can put him in and he would be that box to box guy. Our box to box guy needs to be a level above that, though. It needs to be a Manu or a Fernandez, and then we need a 6 to sit into the hole and just shore that up. That was our biggest problem on transition last year. We got caught so often because Casemiro had such a bad season and we'd nobody to sit. Now, towards the end of the season, what we saw was Amrabat started to sit in there, and probably in the last 5 or 6 games, having seen very little early on, in the last 5 or 6 games, as things settled down, we saw the best of Sofiane Amrabat as a 6. Like in the FA Cup final against City, he was phenomenal. Yeah. He really, really was. And that was the guy who we thought we were getting. That was the guy who sat him in front from Morocco and broke the game up and used, his engine to get himself around. And he's a clever sort of a guy. And he's physically did all that. I think that will happen. I still think the Amrabat deal will happen. I don't think it's going to happen at the 18 to 20 million mark that Fiorentina wanted to happen at. I think it'll probably go in somewhere at a 10 to 12 million. I think United are just looking to shave a couple of million off the asking price to get the deal over the line, and I think he'd be a welcome addition to the squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on here?
I didn't realise the cost of living has hit the fantasy football lads.
Is this over the price of some of the players?
I'd say it's trying to get lads over the line into the fantasy football and throw in that few quid, is it?
I'm always an easy target for
that. I'll
join all your leagues.
Yeah, that's how I'm reading it. I'm reading it that he's struggling to get guys to pony up. Maybe is that how
I joined one at the start of the year in the summer, and it cost me 50 bricks. But they do a monthly prize, they do a cup prize, they do a league prize, they do all of this sorts.
Yeah, so
50 bills, whole season, job done, great crack.
Absolutely, yeah. Kasper Schmeichel was absolutely amazing against City on Tuesday. Nothing less than we would expect from Kasper.
No, Kasper's top drawer.
Good DNA there. Were you shocked that I'm going to Celtic?
No, I think it's a really good move from him. I think you know what I would imagine? Because I know obviously they were at City together. So I imagine he sat down and he had a conversation with Joe Hart. And I imagine Joe Hart said, Kasper, pack your fucking bags and get yourself here. Because Joe Hart spoke very endearingly of his time at Celtic and how amazing it was to play there. And in front of those fans and in that stadium and stuff like that. So I imagine it was an easy sell for him. I really, really do. And I'd say Kasper probably decided, you know what, this is an easy one. I'm out of here. Good luck.
Yeah, and a fantastic bit of business from Celtic.
Fantastic. Absolutely. A guy with that much experience and a guy who still plays at a very, very high level. Yeah, it's a no-brainer from Celtic.
I'm actually surprised maybe he didn't go back into the Prem, but I suppose maybe we know his heartstrings get pulled in relation to Leicester and what happened there and all that kind of stuff, and also how emotional he is. And stuff.
Would have been very difficult, I think, for him to rock up and walk out at that Leicester City stadium, or even I can see why he decided to go north of the border, even if the standard is shite.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to a couple of United channels there this morning. Wanted to get your thoughts, believe it, because I listen to a lot. A lot of them were talking about Xerxes starting over Rasmus at the start of the season. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I think we'll probably see him take his time to bed Xerxes in. Like, they've just given Hoyland the number 9 jersey. I think that's a huge, that's going to be a huge statement from Eric Ten Hag. And obviously, you know, Ruud van Nistelrooy, I imagine, is going to work behind the scenes with Rasmus Hoyland. I expect big things from Hoyland. I really do. I don't necessarily see it as they've bought Xerxes just to be Hoyland's replacement. I think last season our biggest issue was we didn't have two. And any time Hoyland stepped out, we struggled because we didn't have a ready-made replacement for him. We've got Carabao, FA, Europa, and Premier League. We'll have the guts of 50 plus games. Yeah.
Probably near
we need 2 to 3 strikers. If Hoyland is injured or suspended or anything, or he's out of form, you need a Xerxes, and then you still probably need, you know, a Joe Hugel and an Ethan Wheatley, who are guys under that level, who are going to give competition and maybe play Carabao Cup games and maybe come on the bench for when, you know, the lads, somebody's out of action and somebody else is injured and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it's a squad game. And I think, you know, we definitely suffered last season when we didn't have that number 9 up there. And I think we've remedied that. I think we've 2 good number 9s now.
Yeah, I spoke to Mark on Monday, actually. I'm sure that must have been a nice moment for the boy Hugo when he scored there the other day. And after the match, Ruud van Nistelrooy was talking to him on the pitch and stuff like that. No, that must have been a nice moment.
And look at it. The ball comes through, right? The kid has nothing else in his mind other than letting it go first time. You know, because the earlier you get that shot off, the quicker you can catch the keeper out and stuff like that. Just such a good finish. I think we'll see a lot of that over the course of the season where, you know, we might score goals that maybe we weren't scoring last season because you've got a guy like, the price are mental, that's right, where you've got a guy like a Ruud van Nistelrooy behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah, he's talking about the prices of the players.
I think he's 14. I thought he was 14, Jack. I haven't done a draft yet. I know a lot of people have done a first draft or whatever. Yeah, he should have played last year. He'd have done all right, pal.
That's awesome.
I won 3 leagues about 3 years ago. I won 3 all in the same year. And I won almost $2,000.
Nice.
You know, so they can be a nice little earner, Morris. Get yourself in the family a little holiday and salute for a week or something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Right, let's talk this, man. What was your thoughts on this the other day? Yeah, I think we had mentioned it to each other. You said you hadn't seen it. But he could be in a bit of trouble here. Apparently there's accusations that alleged he illegally obtained 2 diplomas from a private university. And apparently, if that happens, it can carry anything up to a 5-year stretch.
He ain't going to fucking jail over obtaining 2 diplomas from a private university. Because let's not forget.
It's a slow week.
Because let's not forget, he has absolute wedge in his back pocket to fight this. Yeah, I was going to say, it must be a slow news week. Fucking hell, man.
Slow news week. But there you go.
Look at him. What a guy. What a guy. A hero of the nation. You know? What a lad. Looks the part. Scores goals.
Clean cut.
Yeah, looks great. A leader for that team. That Polish team and stuff like that. Really, really good footballer. I like Lewandowski a lot. Super finisher, by the way. Real super finisher.
I noticed as well, I meant to say this at the start of the show. Sorry about that. I noticed as well, the old hairstyle has returned. It was a big topic of conversation last week.
Was it?
It was.
So, it just wouldn't sit right for me. My hair almost grows up, yeah? And I was trying to get downward pressure, and it wouldn't happen. So what kept happening was I would get it to sit the way I was, and then it would come up like a claw, and it would all sit at these. And I was like, you know what? And while we were away, we were obviously over at the Open at the weekend, and facilities weren't what they could have been. And one of the day I didn't have a chance to kind of do what I wanted to do, and I just ended up flicking it up. And obviously, with the fringe being a bit longer, it sat really well. And I went, "Look at you!" And I put it back, and my wife is very happy.
She is. She was on the same level as me.
She's very happy. She's very happy. My wife, yeah.
2002 AJ Styles just wasn't happy.
It's all about keeping the wife happy, isn't it? Really, like
100%. Morris is in. Martinez, Saliba, me, Benarek, Suchek, Saka, Winks, Salah, Haaland, Watkins, and Havertz. Haaland is 15 million.
Yeah, I knew he was wedge. Absolutely,
there you go.
I can tell you now, Morris, he ain't going in my squad for 15 million. Ain't happening.
Bayern Munich won a 14-1 last night.
Yeah, but they played against, the Black Bull from Drogheda or something. Like, it wasn't fucking... It was nobody's.
Apparently, they played this team most pre-seasons. Did you see the
record?
Right.
Yeah. They've tonked
84-3.
Yeah. They've given them a bit of a beating, all right.
And the fact that they conceded 3 must stick in their craw, to be honest.
I did see you were missing a couple of them, though, weren't you? Because you were like, well, there's nobody other than Tell in it. And I was like, well, there's a couple more than Tell there, wasn't there? The boy Mazraoui, who was being linked with United and West Ham, got on the score sheet. And then someone else did, one of the midfielders. So there was a few more than just Mazraoui, or just Tell there.
Yeah, but when we think of Bayern Munich...
Got to tell you, the boy Matthias Tell is unbelievable.
Special talent, all right.
Yeah, this kid's going to be... This is the next big thing at Bayern Munich for me, I got to be honest.
Absolutely. 100%.
If Harry Kane keeps performing like he did in the Euros, he'd be getting splinters from riding the point pony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't
it be mad if he ended up winning a Bundesliga but didn't take much part in it?
That's what'll happen. That's absolutely what'll happen. Company had Burnley drilled, don't forget, lads. We all watched Burnley over the first 3, 4, 5, 6 games last season, and we're like, look at how they're playing football. Their football was phenomenal. They didn't have the standard and the level of player to get through the league, but the football they were playing and the brand and the style of football and how well they were drilled was undoubtable. And that's why I thought Vincent Kompany's case a lot last year, and that's why I think this year Bayern Munich are going to be Bundesliga champions. Just saying.
Harry Kane better get into pre-season for an Audi Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
He drilled them into the ground, Darren. Kenny 2.0.
You go easy now, Morris. Kenny's having a shocker at Pats, isn't he? I heard even Grahamo the other day saying, geez, we could do it getting rid of fucking Kenny here, couldn't we? I was like, how the mighty have fallen.
And they gave him a serious contract.
Yeah, give him 7 years or something.
Yeah, something like a decade or something
fucking
crazy.
7 years of bad luck, was it? Jesus Christ,
absolutely, man. I picked out a few bit of transfer information today for us to quickly go through.
Ooh, Chavo. Dun, dun, dun.
What do you reckon? We spoke about Joe Felix, obviously. We spoke about Emile Smith-Rowe.
We did. We spoke about the Abbey.
Conor Gallagher linked potentially with a move to Atletico.
It would surprise me. I could certainly see him leaving Chelsea because I don't think if I'm Chelsea and I want to get to the next level, I don't think Conor Gallagher's involved. And that's, the way I felt about England in the summer. If England were looking to win a Euros and at any stage Gareth Southgate felt like Conor Gallagher should have been in your starting 11, you have fucking no chance. None.
Here's a question for you. If Conor Gallagher leaves Chelsea, and gets a reasonable move somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Is there a chance of getting the Conor Gallagher back that we seen at Crystal Palace?
Possibly. It would sailed. No. I don't think it sailed all right. I don't think it sailed. I think he was a little more young, exciting, and on the front foot. I think at Chelsea, the expectations were a little bit bigger. And I think obviously he was asked to do a very, very different job. He wasn't the guy who was arriving late like a Frank Lampard onto the 18-yard box to ping balls in. He was a guy who was doing a lot of pressing. He was a guy who was doing a lot of donkey work around that midfield. So again, it would depend what position he was played in. For me, the player's obviously still there. He's more than capable of doing what he did at Palace, but he needs to be put under a similar set of conditions for it to happen.
Yeah, just two others that I picked out because I did say to you, I'm not going to be throwing up a load of this stuff.
Yeah.
Junk, you know what I mean?
No,
but
that's
Philip Jorgensen, Villarreal goalkeeper, linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, he's a really good goalkeeper, this kid. He's a really, really good goalkeeper. He would be one of the most highly thought of goalkeepers in European football at that age. He's a real prospect. Has been phenomenal for Villarreal. Really, really has. I think he'll probably come in and give direct competition for Robert Sanchez, but also, he'll be that long-term successor as well. I think that would be a good deal for Chelsea.
Yeah. And then the final one I seen today, which was quite an interesting one, I spoke to Mark on Monday as well about Man City. A lot of unusual stuff going on there at the moment. We've seen like with Ederson and KDB and various other things. But apparently the young lad, Oscar Bob, linked with a move to Newcastle.
And this is another kid who is, for me, he's a guy like Cole Palmer who needs to play games. So if I'm an Oscar Bob, I'm going to back myself and I'm going to say, listen, Pep, it's play me or sell me. And I get you if you don't want to play me. But if you don't want to play me, let me go and play elsewhere so I can further. Because this kid's a footballer. This kid is absolutely a footballer. He was involved in the game with Celtic. He had some good touches and an assist and stuff like that. He's a very tidy footballer. And he's very, very highly thought of. I think this would be a super move for Newcastle if they could pull it off. But I do think it would be a big coup to get him out of City.
Yeah, no, I think he could flourish into an exceptional player under Eddie Howe.
Absolutely.
He's the kind of player that Eddie Howe grabs and turns into a truly world-class player.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think his ceiling is massive.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. But they're kind of the six I touched on at the moment. How are you feeling at the moment about the transfer window? I know obviously United are doing some really good things. And
I personally feel all right about it. I think on the whole, the window's been a little bit slow so far, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We're still waiting on so many of those big teams to go and do something. Arsenal obviously have just done Calafiore, but City have done little or nothing other than the boys Savio or Savinho. And Liverpool have done very, very little or nothing at all. So like I'm waiting on some teams to spark into action and put their stamp on their squads ahead of what's going to be a long season, obviously with the Champions League and the change in the format as well. I think that's going to be, I think missing out on the Champions League this year isn't as big a deal as it would be in other years because of the volume of games and the way the whole competition is going to work and stuff like that. I think as a first season to sit out and watch how it unfolds, I don't think it's that bad. I think we know what we're going to get in the Europa, it's your group games obviously, and then your knockouts afterwards. And provided you manage your squad and stuff like that well enough, I think I'll be all right with missing Champions League football this season because I want to see how this format unfolds. This could be revolutionary or this could die on its knees.
Kind of like the Euros with the new format.
Which died on its knees.
Yeah, so we shall see.
So we shall, exactly.
Maybe after this season, the Europa League might be the place to be. Who knows? Let's see. Thursday night football may not be all that bad.
Absolutely.
Right, let's bring Jordan in all the way from Jamaica, Liverpool fan. Jordan, my man.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Jordan, you are Jamaican me crazy, brother.
Sing song, man. Come, Man United fans. On the start, la, 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 la.
Very good.
Good to have you,
Right,
Jordan.
good to have you
Yeah,
in, George.
I'm good, man.
Absolutely. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's round out the show with a bit of Liverpool. This is some of the stuff I picked up today. Get your thoughts and get Jordan's thoughts as well. First of all, one of the news stories coming out today was potentially a double swoop planned at Wolves for Neto and Ignori. 98 million, which I think is a massive price tag if you're talking both boys. I had a little bit of concern about it as well. You bring Neto in, and I'm kind of, are we potentially bringing in another Thiago? Are we going to bring in another bit of injury?
Jota.
Jota, you
Another
know.
Jota.
Darren, what's your thoughts on these two boys? 98 million, first of all, both boys. Eight Nuri is a player I really like.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, go for it, Jordan. Go for it, brother.
yeah, man. I mean, for Pedro Neto. Well, yeah. Indeed. If we get any one of these Wolves players, I'm not even sure. Indeed, Diego Shata. Yeah. Sometimes he's fit, sometimes he's not. But yeah, we really need someone that really can come in. If we lose him due injury problems, I'm not. I'm sure, but yeah, and he's always up for the task and scoring goals. Indeed. But yeah, I think we will take anyone. But I want to see what gonna happen and all. But yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it, Darren? When you look at the transfer window at the moment, Liverpool fans are pining just for a signing. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
who it is. Just sign fucking someone at this stage.
Yeah, and I think when you get to that stage, I
desperation.
think what's gonna happen is no matter who you bring in, people are gonna poke holes in it, because the wait has been so long, and obviously I heard Slot today talking, and I think he's waiting for the rest of the squad to get to the States and stuff like that before he starts to make decisions on it and stuff like that. And I think he said he would be surprised if they didn't make a couple of additions. But what he did say was it might be nearer the end of the window, you know.
Yeah.
So again, that's probably not what I want to hear from a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, it kind of felt like when I heard that it was kind of, first of all, we want to assess the squad, which led me to believe that we're probably not going to do a lot of business. And
No.
then, towards the end of the window where we do all the panic stuff, where we're in for Cachado, but we sign with Tarawendo. And I'm kind of thinking this is how this feels, how this is going to pan out. Unless they've started doing some work in the background and they're just being clever in the way they do it, and because there's such a furore at the moment out on social media and out in the sports world, they're kind of trying to dampen it down a little bit or something like that. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what way this one is going to go. Darren, what about Kubo? I spoke to Jordan the other night, I think on Monday night, about Kubo as well. Very, very exciting prospect. Really.
He's a super footballer. A super footballer. Listen, he's Sociedad's answer to kind of Heung-min Son. He's that type of player. He's very high energy. He can play on either side of a front three. Has an eye for goal, can assist. Really, really good footballer. Whether you can get him out of Sociedad, I'm not sure. I think it would take quite a bid to get him out the door there. I don't think they're under a whole lot of pressure to sell. They've got obviously Zubimendi and they've got Moreno as well, who are attracting a lot of interest from other clubs. So I don't know. I'd see him being an integral part of what they want to do this season as well,
Yeah, Jordan, what do you think, Kubo? They're going to be able to get him out of Sociedad?
If that could happen, Nails, you know who have to do that, right? Agent Endo has to do that. It is his teammate, and we have to send him to Spain to do that. But yeah, I'll take Kubo, yes, but Watero Endo has to make that happen, and we will hear from Fabrizio Romano
Yeah,
if it's
that's
going to be.
the policy is kind of my concern as well, Darren, at the moment. There's a lot of really big players for us about to come out of contract in the next year or so. And there doesn't seem to be a great succession plan in place in terms of what they want to do. We're talking Virgil, potentially Trent, Salah. These guys, these are big players for Liverpool.
I think if I was a Liverpool fan, the worry would be the succession plan is what you have there at the minute. The Bobby Clarks and the Jaden Dans and guys like that, the Tyler Mortons, you know what I mean? And that would be a worry for me because, that's going and rewriting everything they've done over the last few years, in bringing in some of the top, players across the world and putting pieces into a puzzle. I think you're rolling a massive dice on that because you need a lot of what you have underneath to work. And I think like at times to get a 50-60% success rate in your up and coming players is huge. Liverpool could be looking at this needing 70 or 80% of them to work or they're in trouble. And that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, I just when you think of someone like Virgil van Dijk, obviously Trent is in there as well. But when you think of Virgil and you think of Mo Salah, you know what I mean. It's a massive concern at the moment. And you would ideally like to bring someone in to at least have a season in there with Salah and with Virgil. The likes of Mark Gahey going in there or something, and with Mo Salah. Depending on him. I mean, apparently I was listening to a West Ham supporter the other day as well, talking about how we've made huge inquiries on the boy Kudus at West Ham as well. But you need to get those guys in there, don't you?
Yeah, I think Kudus obviously looked very, very good when he came in for West Ham and stuff like that. Was an Ajax player, came in, did well at West Ham. Is he what I would call a direct replacement for Mohamed Salah? Not for me. He doesn't bring the same sort of thing. And, we talk about this philosophy thing. If I'm taking out Mohamed Salah, I want to bring something in as close to that as possible to continue with that sort of a philosophy.
Yeah.
Kubo, who's somebody, small, diminutive, travels with the ball well at his feet, can finish, can assist. He's what I would describe as like for like with Salah. Now, I'm not saying he's at that level, but it's like for like. If I take out a Mohamed Salah and I'm going and I'm putting in a Mohamed Kudus, like, that's changing my philosophy. That's changing the style with which I play because they're not both two oranges. One's an orange and one's an apple. Do you know what I'm saying? So that creates its own problems as well. Now, I do know, obviously, with Slot coming in, he's going to want to put his own stamp on things and he's going to have his own sort of playing style. And maybe he wants something along the lines of Mohamed Kudus. Maybe he would prefer that than a Mohamed Salah. And maybe that fits into his structure a little better. But I think there's a lot to be debated at Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool fans have finished yet.
No.
I think there's a lot of meat left on that bone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what you make of this one as well, Jordan? You as well, Trent out holidaying with Jude Bellingham. Is agent Bellingham doing the work we expected Trent to do 2 years ago? Darren?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at this, if I'm honest with you, man. I think I mentioned this before the end of the season, that I could see this happening. Obviously, Trent with not so long left on the contract and Jude getting in there. I mean, for Madrid to keep Bellingham happy and stuff like that, if Trent never played a game, it would still be a good move for Real because it gives him, a foil, so to speak, in Jude Bellingham for him to go out with and to, to be friends off the pitch. And you're keeping one of your biggest stars happy. And we've seen teams do that in the past, bring a guy in just to keep someone company. Now, I'm certainly not saying that Trent is going to be there as a friend in need, but I think this would work really, really well for Real and for Jude and for Trent if they could come to some sort of arrangement with Liverpool,
Yeah, the talk at the moment is he's potentially looking for 300 grand a week for 4 years.
Trent is.
That's the talk.
Right, and does he swap his shite for corned beef as well?
Potentially.
300 grand a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems a huge amount, doesn't it?
Mic drop.
Yeah.
If ever there was a tumbleweed that went through this place, that was it.
Yeah.
300 grand. If I was going to sit at a table and look at someone in the eye and tell them I felt I was deserving of 300 grand a week, I'd at least want to be able to do what a player in my position should be able to do. Now, if I'm a right back, defending is real high on that list. Trent ain't a great defender. We know that. He gets caught out so often, out of position. He gets caught positionally. He gets caught aerially. And there's a lot going on for a guy to be sitting at a table and telling Real Madrid he wants 300 bags a week. There's a lot there for me, I got to be honest.
Do you think that is something that Slot could fix up?
Trent? Well, I don't necessarily get the vibes that Trent can't do those things. I get the vibe that a lot of the time he wasn't necessarily asked to do it because of how Klopp wanted him to play and how high up the pitch he was. That would need to be something that Slot was willing to go in and try and do and say, okay, we're going to play it as a right back who's going to defend first and attack later. So that would also be a change in philosophy and stuff like that for Liverpool and for Trent,
Yeah, certainly be interesting. I just wonder what way it's going to go, because it's certainly one that's out there at the moment that's quite jarring in the fan base at the moment. Probably the final one then to focus on, which I was a little bit shocked at this one actually. Apparently Jayden Danns might be going out on loan to Plymouth in the next couple of days, which I thought he would have been a boy that maybe Slot would have wanted in around the first time squad. Certainly he did very well last year when he came in, scoring goals for fun in the underage team. Can do it all, can finish with the right peg, left peg, headers, the whole lot. Looked like a very exciting prospect and certainly filled in greatly last year when we needed the youth to step up with the injuries and the obviously players off at the AFCON and the Asia Cup. What do you think of this, Darren? Is this a boy who should be now in and around the first squad? Or
not necessarily for me. Again, I think he's a guy who needs games now. And I think there's enough ahead of Jayden Danns, for him to understand I need to step out to get game time, prove my worth, and then come back. And guys have done it before. And he is going to go in, don't forget, under one Wayne Rooney, who was the new Plymouth manager. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think this is that bad a move for him. I think a good year at Plymouth, where he scores, where he creates, where he's involved, and then he then builds his profile to go and get into that squad at Liverpool and pushes for some sort of a place,
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan, just to round out the show, what did you think? Jayden Danns potentially going to Plymouth on loan?
Well, surprising. Last time I saw him play, he playing in the cup. For us, he scored in the cup, and despite we don't have Jurgen anymore. Well, if he go to another club, he need gaming time indeed. So yeah, absolutely. I really want to see him play more Premier League, get some Premier League experience. But what else should we do? Well, I wish him all the best.
Yeah, I think Darren makes a great point. Having Rooney there could really benefit him.
Jack, absolutely.
Jack, every time you ask me to do Kai Havertz, bro.
Yeah.
Where were you when I was doing it was start opening ceremony? Now you ask me to do it now.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Jack. It's because of you I'm doing it. Well, here's it, Jack. You will be happy now, Jack. That's Kai.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, as always, lads, great show. Really enjoyed it, Darren. Spot on. Jordan, call out your socials there so people can give you a follow. Let them know where they can see
and what you have. me and Jack, we hit 1.41K on my channel. So yeah, we're doing transfer streams, and big up to Jack, man, absolute legend indeed. So yeah, we're gonna do Paris opening ceremony. The ceremony for the real Paris Olympic starts tomorrow for the opening ceremony. I'll be seeing my country Jamaica with my black, green, and gold, and also the Canadians as well. And we're gonna win all the medals. And also we're gonna talk about Anthony Gordon as well, Liverpool, and then we against Real Betis as well Friday night. So I'm on the road to 2K subscribers, and let's get me there going into the Premier League season.
Awesome. Great stuff.
Good man, Jordan. Good man.
That's what we want to hear. So, as always, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit a like on the video, and hit that bell notification as well to let you know when we're live. I'll be back Monday night with Mark for our Monday roundup, as we always do. I'll be back on Wednesday for Pro Wrestling Weekly as well. And, of course, next Thursday we'll be back, as always, as we edge closer to the Premier League. Next week, will we be giving probably our Premier League predictions at this stage, will
We'll have to wait and see about next Thursday.
Yeah.
It's the wife's birthday.
Oh, yes. Round our SummerSlam plans.
Right, remember?
I remember, yeah. No problem.
So we'll have to wait and see what's on the horizon. But hopefully I'll be here.
Yeah, well, no hass. Priorities, as always.
Happy wife, happy life.
You better be here. Just say it. Absolutely.
Or I'm revoking your fee.
That's it. I'm contacting your agent. Right. So from me and from Darren, folks, have a great weekend and a safe one. And we'll be back next week on your screens as always. And of course, if you could support all the channels in the chat as well, as always, Morris's and Jordan's and all that.
Absolutely.
We love sharing the love on this one, as always we do. Until next time, folks, have a safe one. Talk to you soon. Cheers, Dazzler.